ABC murders. This playthrough will be our wrong or bad playthrough, where we are going to, when we question the suspects, make the wrong choices. We made all the right ones in the last playthrough. What? I thought...
I am not going to leave before having finished questioning him.
Oh, this is strange. It was saying it was the start. I know. Right, never mind. Let's quit this. It's clearly started at the last save of the previous. This one should be a start. Oh, so confusing. Yeah.
Some post for you, Poirot.
Mr. Hercule Poirot, you fancy yourself, don't you, at solving mysteries that are too difficult for our poor thick-head British police? Let us see, Mr. Clever Poirot, just how clever you can be. Perhaps you'll find this nut too hard to crack. Look out for handover on the 21st of the month. Yours extra, A, B, C.
Oh, it's some sort of joke.
Maybe, but please remind me to inform Chief Inspector Japp.
It's here, Poirot. The murder took place in this street. Grim place indeed.
Tout à fait, Hastings. The streets of Andover are in a terrible state.
Look, there's Chief Inspector Japp. He's talking with a policeman.
Let us try not to get our shoes wet.
Over here, it's Hastings and Poirot. You missed the 9 o'clock train?
We took the 10:30. Luckily, the service is good to Andover.
So, Chief Inspector, what do we have?
The victim is called Alice Asher. She owned this tobacco shop. She was killed yesterday with a blow to the back of the head.
At what time?
Let me just check.
Is Japp being too relaxed? Let us find the clues that prove it. chap is in a good mood. I bet he thinks he's already caught the culprit.
The last customer to see Mrs. Asher alive left her shop at 5:30. The body was found at around 11 in the evening by an officer doing his rounds. The shop door was open. That's what alerted him.
Had anything been taken?
A little tobacco maybe, but you'd hardly murder for a few smokes. There's nothing of any real value in the shop.
What type of woman was Miss Asher?
In her 50s, married but separated, no children.
Her husband?
Aha, Franz Asher, the husband. Alcoholic and violent. It's said that he regularly insulted his wife and threatened to kill her.
Do you think he's guilty?
We'll look for Franz Asher. If he doesn't have an alibi, the case is closed. A very unoriginal murder.
Peut-être. May I examine the crime scene?
Of course, old chap.
I'll be with you in a minute, Poirot.
Now, with some of the puzzles, I already know the answers. So we will be, not skipping, but
This place is run down.
just only putting 10. So trying to find the answer because we already know it.
This is a really cutthroat neighborhood. Anyone could have committed the crime.
But as I said, we still have to make our observations. It's just this time the only thing we'll be doing differently is we'll be questioning the suspects. We're saying all the wrong things. But we'll also point at any mirrors.
The place is unusually tidy for a crime scene. Nothing suggests any sign of a fight. It's not just any railway guide. It's an ABC. It's open at the letter A. There are no prints on the book. Red liquid is oozing out. Is it blood? No, it's just some strawberries that are losing their juice. They probably come from the fruit and vegetable shop opposite. The counter is covered with fingerprints all on top of one another. Unfortunately, it will not be possible to use them. There are cigarette packets in a mess on the shelf. She just has one wound on the back of the head. There are no other wounds or signs of a struggle. She has a packet of play cigarette next to her hand. Did she drop it when she fell? This poor woman's head is resting in a very even-shaped pool of blood. The body is hidden by the counter and is not visible from the tobacco shop's door. Many customers might have thought that Mrs. Asher had popped out.
So, Poirot, any news?
So, an ABC guide with no fingerprints, but prints all over the counter.
Normally, the tobacco shop does not sell ABC guides.
Exact. Mon ami, could you have a word with the neighbors? Some may have seen something.
Of course, my friend, I'll do it straight away.
We missed something, didn't we? Yeah.
I can't see any other mark on the floor. The till does not appear to have been touched.
We could do
I have to check that
what
nothing
is
is missing from it.
Or I'm just going to go straight to the solution.
A mechanism has just made a faint click. It would be best to examine the rest of the till.
5.
It is blocked by something.
Let's open it first, I think.
The till is full of money, but there is something strange.
It's 852. 8. 5. 2. Could have shown you all of the, but that were in the
This
last
must be
video.
the key to the back of the
So
shop.
literally, it's just how we figured it and all that lot. It was all in last video, so we're skipping quite a bit.
The door is locked.
Yeah, I've just got the key.
Blood. Did Alice Asher suffer from nosebleeds? An inscription in German. Souvenir of our honeymoon in the Black Forest. To my Alice forever, Franz Asher. The Ashers were a lovely couple when they were young. This interior is very simple. Mrs. Asher lived very simply.
And we've also got to get the mirror because it's very vain.
What a strange box. It looks like you have to slide the slats of wood to open it. This button appears to activate a mechanism.
No, not there.
That should do it. Who is this young woman? To my dear Aunt Alice, Mary Drower.
Have you found anything?
The victim has a niece. We must find her. I've finished with this subject.
Right. Oh, let's go and have a look at this one. This one was quite challenging, weren't it? With that thing. If I remember the birds, let's get them sorted first.
It is blocked by something.
Alright, won't move until I do the top one. Damn it. Which is this one, which was quite challenging.
Such a pretty decoration should be at the center of the motif to respect the symmetry.
Definitely that one. Oh, sorry. There we go.
I heard a faint sound as if something was unlocked.
Oh, I don't want to click on that again. It's these. You've got to turn them certain ways. What is with your dog, Mum?
Medicine. Laudanum-based cough medicine, Mrs. Asher, and Dover Morley Laboratory, London. It's strange to find such an elaborate medicine from a leading London laboratory in the home of such a modest woman. From Mr. Adam Flint, Royal Bank, Eastfield Road, Andover. To Mrs. Alice Asher, 5 Bishops Road, Andover. Dear Mrs. Asher, further to your request of 12 February 1935, I have informed my superiors of your wish to apply for a loan to acquire the lease of the shop you rent from Mr. Fairfax. Despite the seriousness of your case, I regret to inform you that your request has been denied. The amount of your personal contribution, £11, is not high enough and represents too small a part of the final transaction. I remain at your disposal for any questions. Adam Flint. Mrs. Asher's meager savings were not enough for her to own the tobacco shop, but will largely cover her funeral costs. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The motive is definitely not financial gain. There is no sign of a struggle, and the till has not been forced or emptied. I think I've looked everywhere here. Let us see if I can find any more information in the shop surroundings.
What's up with your dog, Mum? He can't come in here. It means we've got to let his brother in as well, and his brother's a menace. Especially while I'm doing a stream.
4p a letters, a lovely large letters, 4p only.
This woman appears to be a smoker. She's a big smoker. She must have been a customer at the tobacco shop. A bottle of poor quality vinegar. The smell could awaken the dead. How much are your lettuce, please?
A lettuce? That would be 5p, kind sir.
And what if I take 2?
Well, 2 are 10p, so what do you want?
Nothing, thank you. They do not look very fresh. Did you know Alice Asher well?
And for starters, who are you?
I'm Hercule Poirot, the detective.
You're foreign, that's for sure, with your accent and your odd way about you. And you're here about Alice's murder, I suppose. Well, I've nothing to say to you.
Did you speak to the victim yesterday?
No, I never saw her.
I do not quite understand. You work next door to each other, but you do not see each other?
It's true. I didn't see her all day.
One thing is certain. You are lying.
So I'm a liar, am I? Get away from my stall!
Hey, Poirot. Is the greengrocer causing trouble? I'll sort her out.
No, please, leave her, Chief Inspector. I'll get her to talk later.
I've found the victim's niece. She's waiting for you in the back of the shop.
Thank you, mon ami. I'll question her. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Don't worry, we're close to the first chapter complete, Mum.
Mrs. Asher was killed here. The absence of marks in the shop and the regular shape of the blood stains indicated beyond a doubt.
Why is he howling?
Jap had the body removed out of respect for the victim's niece. His attention is commendable. Is her grief sincere? She appears to be very upset. She's dressed in mourning. She looks fragile.
Now here's one of the first mistakes we're gonna make.
Stop crying, please. It is very annoying.
You don't understand. My aunt was the only family I had.
If you are her only relative, you would be the only one who inherits.
Sir, my aunt was poor. And in any case, I'm not interested in any legacy.
Yes, that is what everyone says. Hastings, please see this young lady home. I fear that it's quite impossible to finish our interview at present.
Poirot, what have you done? I've never known you be so brutal.
And there's our achievement, making a big mistake.
We have to wait for him to sleep it off. He's all yours, Poirot. There are a few things I need to check.
There must be some way of sobering him up.
I wonder what his wife used to do. He must have scared the customers away.
Reason I haven't been unlocking achievements, someone wrong profile more. Is that alright? Sorry. Oh dear. I know I was gonna do it for you, but
It's Alice Asher's notebook.
you don't really care about
That's
achievements, though, do
interesting.
you?
It probably contains information about our possible debtors and creditors. Bodley, the fruit seller has debts too. She will probably be more cooperative thanks to this piece of information. A box of new stockings.
Well, let's have a go at the fruit seller again.
I am accusing you of the murder of Mrs. Asher.
What? It wasn't me!
According to the victim's account book, you owed her £10 for tobacco and magazines.
That's a lie. She owed me £1. I swear.
Enough lies!
It's not lies. But you're not quite as clever as what you think.
Now, please be so kind as to explain this.
Look at my account book. Alice owed me £11 for fruit and vegetables. I may have had a slate at her shop, but she had one at mine. She owed me £1. And that reminds me I have to get it back from her niece.
That is quite enough. Your account book has saved you, but I might ask Chief Inspector Jack to throw you in the cells for 1 or 2 nights while he checks your entries. You want to go to prison?
Prison? Now that's not fair. I haven't done nothing.
In that case, I am counting on your full collaboration.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Listen, I didn't kill Alice, I swear. But it's true that I did go to the shop yesterday.
At what time?
6 o'clock. She left me a note saying she wanted some strawberries if I got some. I received them late, about 6. So I took them over to her.
But you did not see her.
She wasn't in the shop, so I just put the strawberries on the counter and left.
Did you see anything unusual in the shop?
No. Well, maybe one thing. There was a railway guide on the counter. Alice didn't sell them. Maybe it's the customer who left it there.
You were not alarmed?
I thought Alice had just gone to get her medicine from her room and that she'd be straight back.
You mentioned medicine.
Something for her cough. She used to take it a lot.
Who do you think killed her?
France. Her scoundrel of a husband. He was always after her for something. Well, he's a foreigner. Sorry, sir. What I mean is he's German. That's even worse.
Did you see Franz Asher enter the tobacco shop late yesterday afternoon?
Well, no. But at that time of the day, the streets are packed, and I have better things to do than watch her shop.
I'll just borrow your bottle a moment.
Take it. It's what Alice used to sober up her husband. But try not to empty the bottle.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Dog's really annoying me. He's not going to. He's not a part of this stream. No matter how much he cries. Nobody wants to hear the dog. Well, I'll go in there after the first part. I'll pause, give him a cuddle, and then I'm coming back in.
Mes amis, I can say without a doubt that poor Mrs. Asher was killed between 5:30 and 6.
Killed when the street was packed with people. That's rather bold.
I've been talking to the neighbours, and...
No one's seen anything? Or rather, it's anything and everything. Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah. We must grill this villain Asher before he falls asleep again. This man is in rather a bad state.
Why don't you go in and...
This man has been fighting and he smells of alcohol. We know that you threatened to kill your wife, Asher.
So what? You shouldn't take things so seriously, sir. Nothing but empty threats. We didn't get on all that badly.
So, if things were going so well with your wife, why did you not live with her?
She was the one that left. Nothing to do with me, sir.
You can't have treated her very well for her to run away.
No, sir, no. I wouldn't say I'd ever laid a finger on her, but it was only normal. She was my wife.
Are you often involved in fights?
I don't know what you mean.
The truth is that someone gave you a good beating.
A beating? No way. All right, he tore my coat and gave me a black eye. You see the state of him?
Very interesting. Who is the other that you struck?
Probably best if I tell you everything. Yesterday afternoon, I met Roderick Tanner. We'd bet on a dog fight together.
An illegal bet, naturally.
Yes, sir. Our dog won. Roderick got the money, but he refused to give me my share.
And you thought about it. What time was it?
In the evening, about 6, I think. We were on the other side of town. You see, I couldn't have killed my wife.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The murderer probably pretended to be a customer. He hit the shopkeeper from behind as he turned around to serve him. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. murderer deliberately left
Doctor
behind
got
this
worse.
ABC as a signature. The absence of fingerprints and the fact that it is open at letter A for Andover leaves little doubt.
Asher's alibi appears to be confirmed. All the same.
One thing...
But he's not very
I'm gonna have to
educated.
skip
It
because
certainly was not him who wrote the letter signed ABC. We know the
I agree
and the murder.
in...
Yeah, but
I'm gonna have to pause here because my dogs are going mental.
the killer enters the shop. Mrs. Asher turns around to greet a customer. The murderer asks her for some tobacco. She turns her back to him. He seizes the opportunity to strike her. He then places the ABC upside down before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
Question is, do I stop it here and change profile?
Asher has a strong alibi, and we
Or do I
don't
just
have
carry
any
on?
other suspect.
She had...
No
I'm
doubt.
gonna skip the talking because we've
yeah.
heard it all before
No,
on the first.
See you soon then.
Yeah? I will speed up time.
Well, I thought
I would go and see. Dear Mr. Poirot, we're having a crazy time. The next crime will be in Bexhill. We must warn...
did the letter.
To be honest, I think we can already guess something about the next victim. But I need to think about it a little more. Let us examine this. Certain characters in the two letters may have similar... Yes, this eye is weird. Yes, the eye characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defect. Yes, the A... That's right, the A character... I have to find some... Let us examine the character. The W is not... Of course, the W... My theory was right. Both... But... Let us now try...
So, Poirot,
Oui, I believe so. But I am afraid it is not enough to stop the murderer. Let us go and see Chief Inspector Japp. I will explain there. To Scotland Yard, please. Japp has invested a great deal in his career. Japp appears to be snowed under.
Don't be so impatient, Poirot. You're getting preferential treatment. I've refused all other visits. Don't be so impatient, Poirot.
London. I really like this city. One thing is certain, you never get... Alice Asher.
I've got to wait for him to...
Jap has invested a great deal in his career.
I should have done this properly.
Jap is an investigator greatly respected by his peers. Jap appears to be snowed under. Jap appears to already be overloaded with work. My news is not going to improve matters. Bonjour, Chief Inspector.
Are you...
I fear so.
Good God, Poirot.
The killer is mad, so he's unpredictable.
You surprise me, Poirot. I've often...
I didn't realize you had... Bien.
You have a few...
Thank you.
Poirot?
Chief Inspector Jap.
Indeed, we...
Bexhill is a delightful town. It would be nice to come back and visit.
I do not entirely agree. Walking at the beach damages my shoes, and it hurts my knee.
So the year...
That is Do not be offended, Hastings. I can see Jap waiting for us. And from his face, I would say that things are not looking good. Hastings appears to be ill at ease. He appeared to be relatively indifferent to Mrs. Asher's murder, but a young woman's murder seems to be troubling him greatly. There is no doubt about it. Bexhill has one of the most beautiful beaches in the area. We should have the courtesy to go and see Chief Inspector Jap before examining the crime scene. We should have the courtesy to go and see Chief Inspector Jap before examining the crime scene.
How do you do, gentlemen?
Chief Inspector?
I fear your admirer has struck again, Poirot. We haven't yet identified the victim, but it's a young woman, 20 to 25 years old. Death occurred last night between 11:30 and 1 o'clock, and we found an ABC guide on the body.
Was she pretty?
Come on, Poirot, that's rather out of place. It has no bearing on the murder.
Are you certain? For a woman, it is often the most important thing. It often decides their destiny.
The body hasn't been moved. You can see for yourself.
Has the press been informed?
Not yet, but I'm planning to. I haven't yet informed them about the presence of the ABC guide in Andover.
Nobody has reported a young woman missing?
Not for the moment.
No witnesses, I imagine.
Indeed. We've asked everybody who may have met a young woman fitting her description last night to come and see us, but I have little hope of gaining anything from it.
It's early days, Chief Inspector, and the news may not have spread around the town yet.
I hope you're right, Hastings.
Alright.
The guide is open at the page for the Bexhill train times. A braided silk belt. It may have belonged to the victim. These marks have been left by a rope or a braided cloth. This key is too small to be one for a house. Without a doubt, it is for a padlock. Apart from the marks on the neck, there are no signs of the struggle. She didn't manage to hit her assailant. The young woman wasn't wearing shoes or a coat, and was not carrying a bag. That's strange. Either the murderer stole her belongings, or she put them somewhere safe. Maybe so that she could bath. She was a great beauty. Strange that chap didn't notice it. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The poor child must have been strangled with his braided belt. Unfortunately, in view of the fabric, it is unlikely that we will find any prints. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The medical officer should
That's what she showed.
You are.
Remember our first playthrough was the whole story. So in this one, we are literally just speeding through to do all the wrong choices. We take the real. Five.
A dual locking padlock. I need to find the code and then insert. Betty's first day at work. So, the young lady. The press is full. Yet again, here is the one. A top. As well as a. It definitely was here that the victim left her belongings.
Jap has gone to the police.
Elizabeth Barnard.
But what?
Never mind.
Yes.
You are far too impatient, Hastings. Let the poor people take in the news first. Let us go and visit the cafe where Betty worked.
Too bad you can't, like, make him go any faster. 'Cause you don't feel the sweat.
Bexhill seems to be a pleasant little town. Bexhill is a pretty little seaside resort with elegant architecture, although personally I prefer more modern buildings.
I'll be with you in a minute, gentlemen.
Let's turn the mic up a bit. There we go. You might be able to hear me a bit better there. Oh, I want the music down. There we go. Remember, we're making all the wrong choices in this place.
Something tells me that she's the owner of the Ginger Cat. This woman must be the owner of the Ginger Cat.
How can I help you?
A hot chocolate.
I'll bring it.
So let's make ourselves at home and make a nuisance of ourselves.
I need to know the time range during which Betty was working on her own. Where is Betty?
See, Betty's this one.
Betty worked from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Would she have been alone at any time during her service?
So,
Betty worked from 11 a.m. to... Interesting. These are the different waitings. Most probably a single man. This bill may have been written. Most probably a family. Betty served a family and a man on his own, a whiskey drinker, maybe the murderer. This information will help me to progress.
What? Gentlemen, what are you doing?
We are searching for clues, mademoiselle. My name is Hercule Poirot. I am a detective, and this is Captain Hastings. Does Betty Barnard work here?
That is correct. She should have been here a while ago. Punctuality is the first rule of politeness.
I fear that Miss Barnard will not be coming today. She has just been found, dead, on the beach a few hundred meters from the cafe.
How awful. Poor young thing. What happened?
Change your attitude now.
She appears to have been murdered.
This is most distressing. How this will affect my business, I shudder to think.
Not self-centered at all.
Do not be so sure. Miss Barnard's tragic death may be a good advertisement for you.
It makes one despair of human nature. Poor young girl. She was a hard-working and pleasant young woman. I didn't know her that well. She'd only been here for 2 summers. I know that she had a young man. He used to call for her sometimes.
Do you think he could have harmed her?
I repeat, I wasn't on close terms with Betty, and even less so with her fiancé. How do you expect me to answer such a question? Now, please excuse me, I have work to do.
Like I
The
said,
customer
we're
who
making,
ordered the whiskey might
yeah.
provide us more information. He may have been the last one to see Betty alive.
It is an interesting idea, Hastings. Maybe he is a regular guest. What do you think, mademoiselle?
I don't think so. Our regular guests tend to order tea and cakes. At this time of the year, there are a lot of tourists about you never see again.
That's what I thought. Time to visit Betty's home.
Wait until we get in it and call one of them a witch. This is actually my 4th playthrough of this.
With all these
First
tourists,
one was a
these
perfect
shops must
playthrough
be thriving.
with all the correct decisions. This one's the wrong playthrough with all the, well, wrong decisions.
Could it be the same
Already
buildings
made
as
one
on the
woman
victim's
cry.
photo?
Well, we've got more to insult, it appears.
This is definitely where the photo I found in the hut was taken.
I wonder who else we can insult.
How do you do, mademoiselle? My name is
I've got
Hercule
all
Poirot.
except the brand new one, which I
know
pre-ordered,
you.
but
You're that
didn't
detective we
have.
hear all about.
I do
I've got
not
to wait
know
a
if
bit
that
longer.
you are Betty's sister, I believe.
Yes. My name is Megan.
Need more
Can we
games.
come in?
Please do.
Thousands. I'm only doing this to show everyone how to do it.
My parents are at the police
And also
station.
Mum
I
hasn't
doubt they'll be
played
able to
it, so
speak
she's-
to you later.
Having a fun time
Do
figuring
not
things
worry.
out.
Did you know your sister's plans for yesterday evening?
She went...
What?
Her new dress. She wanted a pair of black stockings to go with it. Mother
There's
bought her a
4 over there,
pair.
but there's one on the way.
The very day it happened. She was crying. And to think that Betty never even wore them. Poor Mummy.
Okay. Let's have a look around.
The Barnard appeared to make music a priority in their budget. Their home is modest, but the Barnards are definitely music lovers.
Let's observe her and then insult her.
What is she feeling at the moment? Betty's older sister is not just sad, she is angry.
Yeah, but the problem is with YouTube is I've got a lot of videos to upload and I can only upload so many a day. Yeah.
Did Betty go out often?
My sister wasn't a child, sir. She used to go out. She enjoyed films, dancing. She was a very good girl who didn't hang around with men. That's what they always say, no?
The pain is making you bitter, Mademoiselle Barnard.
I'm not interested in your compassion, Mr. Poirot.
Très bien, mademoiselle. Could you at least tell me a little about Betty's young man?
His name is Donald Fraser, a very nice young man. Oh, excuse me, I have to answer that.
But of course.
Betty's room is opposite the stairs on the first floor. Feel free to take a look if you think it might be useful.
This young woman is far too clever not to have any...
Do you think she's high?
I did not... Who knows?
Or maybe...
We have to study... Bring him to the Ginger Cat. I would like to talk with him before the Chief Inspector finds him.
Have a look round. Oh, mister.
Family photos and files.
Mirror, because this dude's really vain. Oh yeah, there's a mirror there. Got to look at himself in the mirror. He might forget what he looks like if he doesn't. Oh, and another mirror. Check that moustache is right. Yep. Still on your face. Hasn't fallen off.
It looks like Betty was also a music lover, the same as her family. Without a doubt, Betty used to sing. Looking at all the clothes she took out, Betty must have had a problem deciding what to wear. Maybe she had a date? A box of new stockings.
Strange. Didn't we find one of them at the last place?
It looks like Betty has a very busy life. Betty liked luxury and going out, and being as pretty as she was, she probably did not have any problem getting herself invited. A record sleeve with a handwritten title. Betty must have recorded the demo. I'd be interested to hear it. This small key should be useful to me. I've finished with this subject. Medicine to prevent voice loss. Did Betty have problems with her voice?
What could it mean indeed?
Something on this clock bothers me.
Oh, yeah, it's the wrong time.
There, that's better. This metal disc is stuck.
I pressed the wrong one. I meant to. We're trying to check out the top. There, this one. And then this one.
Could the screw be slightly loose?
Oh, I must turn it other way then.
Good. It should be possible to open the wooden panel. What a strange mechanism. I don't think it serves to turn the hands.
Except...
Look, a key. This could be useful.
This one says it all. Was it the middle?
3, 2,
What?
2. Second page.
This one.
No,
This one.
and then that one is in the first page. No, third. No, and then 1, 2.
Okay.
Ah, something clicked on the front of the clock.
One would think if you're going through such,
This could be useful.
lengths to hide things, you shouldn't be looking.
Betty,
Dude's really
I
nosy
enjoyed a
then.
wonderful evening in your company, and I hope that we will see each other again very soon. D. My dearest Betty, I know that your art is already spoken for, but you are the most beautiful dancer I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and I am impatient to see you again. Adrian.
Did I check this mirror? Well, if not, he's still checked his moustache hasn't fallen off. Some good glue there.
Let us see. What is this cupboard hiding? I cannot open it. It looks like the mechanism is blocking it. I cannot open it. It looks
No, I'm
like the
trying to go
mechanism
around the
is blocking
side of
it.
it. Yeah, it could be.
It looks like something goes in here.
Yes. That would be the turning thing. Not too sure what it's called. That.
First of all, I have to take the ender.
Handle.
First of all, I have to take
Okay.
the ender.
Well, take it then. Oh dear, instead of telling me.
There is bound to be a clue somewhere.
There is. Let me think. If I can remember it. I think it was like the 7. And then the double 7. Twice.
I heard the sound of a mechanism being triggered.
Yeah, crank. Yeah, I wouldn't have called it handle either. And this is 78. What letter was on it? Yeah, 78. What was the letter? T.
I just have to put the record on the gramophone and start it.
She remembered well. Thanks, Mum. No, I'm trying to.
It looks like something goes in here.
Dozy guy. He keeps saying the same thing to me.
That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
No, I didn't. The dozy guy in turning now. There we go. There we go. We're starting to cook now. Then press this.
Oh, Donald! We're in the middle of recording.
Sorry, Betty, but it's not wise. The doctor said you should rest your voice.
You're such a killjoy sometimes.
Betty was such a good singer.
It's true. Did she have any problem with her throat?
Yes, she had to be careful with her voice. Of course, she didn't follow the doctor's advice. If Don didn't insist, she... Well, it's too late for all that now.
Okay. Let's question her again. See if we can insult her again.
It looks like this woman is single, but she has feelings for someone.
Shoe Poirot. She's infatuated by you.
She is looking so intensely at this photo. But is it really a sister that she's studying in this manner?
She's in love with her own sister? Strange.
They made the perfect couple, am I correct?
Yes, in a...
Well?
He's a... He would have...
Insult her. Right.
You have not mentioned Donald's jealousy.
There's nothing to say.
I am not your enemy, Mademoiselle Bernard.
And you are not my friend either, Mr. Poirot, sir.
Yes, but your lies are not helping Mr. Fraser, or you, for that matter. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Protect him? I hope you're not suggesting...
That you are Fraser's accomplice? There is nothing to suggest that, at least not yet. It would appear that your sister's murder is the second in a series that we have to stop as quickly as possible. The first was in Andover, and the same as your sister, the murderer sent me a letter informing me that a crime would be committed in that town. Now can I count on your honesty?
Yes, you have my confidence, Mr. Poirot. Don is a quiet and sensitive young man. Slightly reserved, too. And as is often the case with reserved people, when he flew into a temper, he completely lost control. He could be so violent. Betty was frightened.
And when was this?
The first time was about a year ago. But they rowed more recently. Donald found out that Betty had lied to him. She said she was going out with a girlfriend, but she went out for dinner with a married man. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased.
Some I can, some I
Donald
can't.
turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day...
Well?
He'd commit murder.
Well, he did. Congrats.
So you were afraid that he would become our main suspect. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Exactly. Had you not told me about the case, I would never have dared to tell you about this little matter. Don loved Betty with all his heart. I can't imagine for one instant that he would hurt her.
Very good, Mademoiselle Barnard. Thank you for your help.
Fraser is at the Ginger Cat. The police haven't spoken to him, but they want to.
Très bien, Hastings. Let's see him now. Au revoir, mademoiselle. My deepest condolences to your parents.
Of course, Mr. Poirot. And don't be too hard on Don. He's more fragile than he looks.
If you say so. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Yeah, but why can't we do all of this in one? Wonder if we can insult him as well. Hey, we might even push him to hit us. That'd be amusing. I don't think we can, but...
You've seen Fraser, Hastings. What is your feeling?
I told...
Bien. Megan Barnard said he is a reserved character but with a nasty temper. We will see if this is the case.
Walk into the building. This time we missed the post.
How do you do, Mr. Fraser?
You heard...
That looks like a mirror that we've missed. He's got to look at himself in the mirror. Vitally important. He still has that silly little moustache.
This man looks suspicious.
He's been on whiskey. Why does it keep wanting to like zoom in And then, like, it's weird. Whatever, we've made our
Donald
deductions.
Fraser is in a terrible state, as if he hadn't slept all
No.
night. And he's drinking White Horse.
Leave me alone.
I wouldn't call it beautiful moustache. It makes him look silly.
Tell me that it's a mistake. That Betty isn't dead.
Sadly, your lady friend has been murdered, Mr. Fraser.
Oh, Betty, if only you'd listened.
So, what's the best way we could insult him?
If I have understood correctly, Betty was not the sort of person to listen to advice.
You're right. She always did as she pleased.
And what did she have in mind for yesterday evening?
She said she was having dinner with her sister.
And you believed her?
And why not, sir? She was my fiancée.
That did not stop her from lying to you before. Betty was not a bad girl, but she did like to take advantage of her success with men.
How dare you sully her memory?
Please excuse me if I appear to be brutal. I understand that this is a difficult time for you.
So you understand why I don't feel like talking, Mr. Poirot?
Well, he didn't tip me.
Ah, I knew I'd find you here, Poirot.
Unfair.
I thought the victim's young man was here.
Yes, is all yours, Chief
Probably.
Inspector. Let us now
But you don't
try
need a
and get
moustache
our
to be
brain cells to work.
sophisticated. Unless you're trying really, really unwell to look inconspicuous. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Let's try that again. I meant to click. But, no. Betty used to go out a great deal. And he's a violent man. Yeah, 1920s London, maybe. But nowadays, nah. I'm not one for the moustache. It's amusing. It's like one of them fake with the nose and the glasses and the moustache. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Trying to be inconspicuous and failing.
Fraser doesn't have an alibi and he's extremely jealous.
You are very skilled at summing up.
And yet you haven't asked Jap to arrest him.
It is too soon. But I agree, without the letters announcing the crimes, Fraser would already be behind bars. Bon, I think we have enough.
I can't imagine.
Let's get this right.
The killer and the victim are walking on the beach. Miss Betty has a bag, a belt around her waist, and carries her shoes in her hand. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 5. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 6. Miss Betty enters the hut. She leaves without her belongings. Then she hides a code. They keep walking. Then she removes her belt.
The murderer moves behind her and then attacks her by surprise. The body falls, lifeless, on the sand.
Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened. Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser. But by timing his crimes, the murderer is making sure he's accused. In a way, it is very generous of him.
Generous? The murderer seduced Betty in order to lure her to the beach and kill her.
Indeed, the young woman was certainly careless, but not stupid enough to follow a stranger.
What are you planning to do, Poirot?
Return to London, mon cher Hastings. Right, back to London. There is not...
Jap has decided to reveal details to the press.
It is not a bad idea. The more people who know, the greater our chances of finding out something of interest.
Poirot, I have a bad... Poor Mr. Poirot, not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps. Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time, it's an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It's a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC. Good hunting. Did you hear that, Poirot? The murderer seems to be taking it all as a game, a challenge. He will strike on 30th in Churston. We must warn Scotland Yard. No time to lose. We must prepare our suitcases for Churston.
Mon Dieu, it is already 10 o'clock. I will call Scotland Yard immediately.
Suck it, mirror.
Miss Hastings tore the envelope. Hello, chap. We received a new letter from ABC in the 10 o'clock post.
Where and when? Today?
It is not a good time.
Oh, I thought we were sorting out the checking the letter. Okay.
Hastings, what you are doing is an absolute disaster. You're right, Hastings.
At last, Poirot. Poirot, you were right. I've just consulted the ABC guide. There's no hurry. The next train doesn't...
You see...
But what...
Very good. We should...
So, we've got things to investigate. Mainly the
Right,
letter.
let us compare this new letter. Let us examine this. Certain characters. The W is not printed properly. Of course, the W characters in the two letters. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory.
And there's the I.
Yes,
Which
this
is really
I
tough
is
to
weird.
point.
Yes, the I characters in the two letters. I have to find some other similar...
And then the A.
Yes, the A. That's right. The A character. My theory was right. Let us now try. The letter should have arrived in time. The postmark shows that it was sent 3 days ago. However, our man made a mistake in the address, which explains the delay. All the same, the post office took their time correcting the error.
Come on, Poirot. Your address is not quite as well known as that of Scotland Yard.
So why didn't they send it to Scotland Yard?
Poirot, the telephone. It must...
I have some news from Churchton. Bad news, I'm afraid. Sir Carmichael Clark was murdered while out on his evening walk.
Sir Carmichael Clark. The name is familiar to me.
He was a famous throat specialist, one of the best in London. A wealthy man, he retired to Combside, a beautiful house by the sea. He collected antiques.
Are you going there?
Yes, let's meet on the train.
Yes. It's a bit conspicuous, isn't it? They did it on purpose because this
The
is the
victim
only
is
murder
called Sir Carmichael Clark, one of the best throat specialists in
they
London.
wanted to commit.
The body was still warm when we found it. If we'd been warned earlier, we definitely could have saved him.
It appears that the murderer made a mistake when he wrote his letter.
A mistake? Lucky for him.
And what if he did it on purpose?
No. He's defined his madcap rules and he's sticking to them. It's a matter of pride for him. Shall we go up to the house, Poirot?
You go, my friends. I will come soon.
Alright. Let's look at some things.
Jap has emptied the victim's pockets and has laid out the...
Top.
It
What
is
angle do you want
pointless.
to look at it then? The keys.
A signet ring, very probably with the Clark family's coat of arms. An oriental... Nothing appears to be missing. This place is very calming. The sight is exceptional. It is easy to imagine that Sir Carmichael used to enjoy stopping here every evening. The vegetation behind the bush has been trampled. The gravel on the path has been sprayed with blood that covers a conical-shaped area, which starts at the body and becomes wider as it moves further from the bush. Sir Carmichael's throat was an ABC guide, the murderer's customary signature, covered in blood this time. Apart from the wound to the throat, the body is untouched. No cuts, no bruises. I'm not going to leave now. I still have some clues to find.
Well, what haven't I found?
The body is just in front of a bush. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Sir Carmichael had his back. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Have you finished, Poirot?
Chief Inspector, many questions remain unanswered, but I am certain of one thing. The killer is a daring opportunist. He met Sir Carmichael at nightfall on this deserted path and took advantage of the situation.
Impossible. You forget the trampled grass behind the bush.
Ah, c'est vrai. It proved that he was waiting for his victim.
Quite right. He must have known Sir Carmichael's movements well to plan such an attack.
This time, theft may have been the motive for the crime.
Theft? But we found a wallet full of banknotes on the body and a watch worth at least £50.
Certes. I had forgotten these details, so we can exclude the theory of theft. Have you spoken to the victim's family, Chief Inspector?
I've spoken to the brother, Franklin Clark. I didn't get much out of him. He's yours. I must get the body removed.
There you go, Mum.
To be honest, this inspector seems rather obtuse. I'm counting on your friend Poirot to catch my brother's murderer. Ah, here he is now. Please, Mr. Poirot. Mr. Poirot, this is my brother's secretary, Miss Thora Gray.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Poirot. Would you like some tea?
No, thank you, mademoiselle. I find it hard to digest. It is not the right time. There is something very viril about him. Franklin Clark is an adventurer, the sort of man that women like. There is something elegant about her. She has good taste, except perhaps in her choice of jewelry.
Please excuse me, I have to take care of Lady Clark.
My brother's wife is gravely ill. You will probably want to question her, but...
Okay. Let's question you.
I insist, Mr. Clark. Please allow me to remind you that this is a murder inquiry.
Unfortunately, she is much too ill. She doesn't even know her husband is dead. I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid it's out of the question.
Of course, I understand. Someone set a trap for your brother. Who was familiar with his habits?
Everybody knew he took his evening walk at 8:30, and that he always followed the same path.
Was it a dark night?
It was a new moon. I took a lantern.
So it was you who found the body?
Yes, along with the gardener.
Have you seen any strangers around the house recently?
No. As far as I know, nobody has been near the house.
Miss Clark.
Oh, Lady Clark must have fallen from her chair. I have to help Miss Grey get her up.
Hastings, while our host is gone, let's examine the drawing room.
But, Poirot, a gentleman shouldn't...
I take full responsibility. All you have to do
Poke
is
his
to leave
nose
the
round.
drawing room door ajar
Nosy.
and let me know if anyone is coming. There are some very valuable objects here. Compass, point to the south. Bronze and magnetite, Han Dynasty, circa 210 BC, purchased in... Traditional Chinese map. A tiger. It is an emperor. A dragon. Dragon. A turtle. A crane. Comside's private collection, purchases since 1920. The catalogue for circa... The interior is richly decorated. Dragon, dragon, dragon. Sir Carmichael showed himself to be very consistent in his collection's theme. The cardinal points. This book could maybe help me. Each cardinal point is associated. Turtle, the dragon, the crane and the tiger. I think I've already seen this motif somewhere.
Oh, you need the dot face. Dot to face him. What, red goes to the top, you say? Back at the bottom, white, red and... Okay. Yeah. Pointing these in the right direction is tough. No, no, not you. Wasn't that right? Oh yeah, we've got to get them in the right position.
The position of each motif resembles that of those on the table. I think I heard the bang. Could it be this
There
couple?
you go. Unlocked it.
This is interesting. These daggers are only Ernest Logan, MD, Brighton Cancer Institute, 201 Dusk Road, Brighton, Sussex. To Sir Carmichael Clark, MD, Comsite Churton, Devon. Brighton, 1935, January the 5th. As a man of... Lady Clark, your wife... I estimate that Lady...
Yeah, she's got cancer. It's terminal. There's no anyone can...
Here's Miss Gray.
Or so they say.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Indeed, mademoiselle. This porcelain is remarkable.
It's about...
It's Inspector.
She appears to be very flustered. She is unable to hide her emotion, and her makeup has been disturbed. I think that this young woman has just been kissed.
Here? Teapot with black dragon.
You have a good knowledge of art history.
Acquired while working with Sir Carmichael. I used to help him manage his collection and choose his new acquisitions.
And sometimes, he used to give you a piece as a gift. Is that right?
Gift? What do you mean?
I am referring to your brooch.
This old brooch?
Mademoiselle, you know perfectly well. I am talking about the magnificent brooch you were wearing earlier.
Yes, you're right. Sir Carmichael did give it to me. He valued my work. How could I refuse? He would have been offended.
You took it off because of Lady Clark, am I right?
Indeed. Lady Clark does not like this jewel. Why upset someone who is so gravely ill?
I see. This jewel is sinister, do you not think? A black dragon, an omen of death. It is not surprising that it frightens Lady Clark.
Oh no, I don't think so. The Chinese dragon is not destructive. It's a positive symbol.
Have you seen any strangers hanging around in the past few days?
No. Nobody has been near Comside.
Tell me what happened last night.
After dinner? Well, I did some sewing and then I went to bed. I was woken by the telephone at 11. I heard Franklin Clark speaking with the gardener. They left with some lanterns and they found the body.
Why do you hate Franklin Clark?
But why would I hate him?
Miss Grey, if I may be so bold, please do not take offence. My friend has rather unusual methods, but all he wants is to find the murderer.
Yes, I understand. I must rest. Please excuse me.
Earlier, you asked me to watch the living room door for you. I don't wish to be indiscreet, but sometimes a gentleman stumbles upon a secret without intending to.
That is sometimes the case.
And I saw Frank...
Do you think...
No.
Well done.
How...
So who do you think it is, or do you already know? I know you do, but I'm asking
Sir
everyone
Clark
watching.
is taking his customary walk. Our killer is hiding behind a bush. The old man walks quietly along the gravel path. Then he turns towards the sea to gaze at it.
Still there. This sea.
The killer leaves his hiding place on the right-hand side. He approaches silently over the grass. Then he throws himself on his prey and cuts the poor man's throat. He then lays down the ABC before leaving. Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
We're well over halfway through now. Not long left.
Oh, just a minute. I'm getting dressed.
Mr. Kirst, have you recently returned from Churston?
Yes. Indeed I have.
Have you seen the papers? And to think that you might have rubbed shoulders with the killer. Imagine that. Mr. Kirst, are you all right? You don't seem
imagine
well.
that.
My apologies. My throat is burning and my head feels heavy. It's ever since the war, you know. Since my injury, my head has never been the same.
Poirot, it's a pleasure to be with you again after all these years. I looked for a gift to thank you, and I found this propelling...
An authentic collector's item. You spoil me, mon ami. Do not underestimate...
Ah,
Yeah,
is
it'll
Thora
be fun
great?
to take it apart.
Naturally. She is a fast...
Poirot...
Let's skip through this.
I should take advantage of the silence to examine them.
The question is the killer in the room? How about this as a spanner in the works? The chap that's standing up follows me everywhere. Could it be him? Maybe, yeah. Might be him.
Sometimes I love a brunette, sometimes I love a blonde. That's what the song says. The song says, sometimes I love a blonde who comes from Eden by way of Sweden. But I am not sure that this blonde is an angel.
Is it him? Or her? Or maybe it is
She appears
Alexander
to have taken
Bonaparte
more
Cust.
care with her appearance than the last time.
That seems too obvious, doesn't it?
Mr. Poirot, I don't like being stared at. If you have something to say, would you please say it to me?
She's looking at Mr. Fraser out of the corner of her eye.
Yeah, you agree.
Did she
It
make
could be
herself beautiful
Hastings.
for him?
He's followed us everywhere. Does that not seem suspicious?
Donald is always on edge. Donald Fraser is very nervous at the moment, even if he is trying hard to control himself.
Could be him. But I think it's this chappie here. This one. He's followed us everywhere.
I ought to concentrate on my guests. Franklin Clark always seems at ease, regardless of where he is. Something that's unique to people who travel. I wish to thank you all for coming. I wanted to bring everyone close to the victims here in order to unmask the murderer.
Get to the point, Mr. Poirot. What do you want from us?
Megan, dear girl, please be patient.
Mr. Poirot, how dare you address me by my first name?
Please excuse me, mademoiselle. What I ask is that you search your memories. The murderer must have left some trace.
Yes, he must have prepared his crimes very carefully.
Tout à fait. He did not get to Bexhill at midnight in order to strangle a young girl whose name, by chance, starts with P.
Must we go into that?
No, of course. Not if it makes you uncomfortable.
Come on, Mr. Poirot. I imagine we all feel terribly uncomfortable about these murders.
It's true. We've to catch the killer, not be spared the gory details.
Mr. Fraser, please get a grip on yourself.
Well, I want to help you, but I don't remember anything else. Nothing I haven't already said.
And you, Mademoiselle Barnard? Did your sister say if she was seeing another man?
She never would have told me.
Why would she hide the fact from you?
Betty knew I didn't approve of her behaviour. Her flirting was spoiling any chance she might have had.
Tell me, mademoiselle, what did you talk about with your sister?
Silly things. Her new dress. She wanted a pair of black stockings to go with it. Mother bought her a brand new pair. The day it happened, she was crying. And to think that Betty never even wore them. Poor Mummy.
Your sister
Oh,
used
and
to
the
sing, I
mum
believe.
the sister
Did
can't
she
wear
ever
them.
perform in public?
She dreamt about it, but she had a very bad cough. It troubled her greatly. She had to cancel auditions and miss lots of opportunities. A pity.
Yes, she sang well, but that doesn't tell us much about the murderer.
Qui sait? In any case, we now have enough information to draw up a relatively precise psychology. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we can now surmise without too much risk of error that our adversary is calculative, sure of himself, a seducer. It's a...
Well,
You do not have the money to pay for the train, is that it?
It's normal that people help.
Oh,
But you must. Mademoiselle...
Mr. Clark, that's very generous of you.
Well, someone has to... Mr. Poirot, would it be...
But of course, thank you all for coming. We will meet again soon. The meeting was most fruitful.
Really?
Hastings, I believe now we have everything we need to find a common point between the victims. Now it is time for us to use our grey matter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. The first two victims suffered from bad throats, and that was precisely the specialty.
We have a...
It would pay to take a closer look.
We'll do so during our next visit.
I will do it myself, mon ami.
Very well.
Off we trot to see old woman. And to have a nosy around her house.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Poirot. Please excuse...
Are you going on holiday, mademoiselle?
Not exactly, Mr. Poirot.
Miss Gray very kindly stayed with me.
Ah,
I'll be...
thank you, Mr. Clark. Have a nice trip, mademoiselle.
Right. Let's look at herself in another mirror. You never know. These mirrors might show something different. There might be one of them strange mirrors you get at one of them fun houses. Oh, I'm thinner in this one. I like this mirror.
Mr. Poirot?
My respects, madame.
Thank you for coming.
The telephone in the hall is ringing. This poor woman is very ill.
I wouldn't say they're clenched fists. I say they're shaking.
This woman is suffering.
Fists.
She is in no state
Not
to have
fists,
a conversation.
shaking hands. Yeah, she's supposed to have cancer. Oh, wrong one. I went to answer the phone first. Strange that the phone constantly rings.
The Clark residence? Detective Hercule Poirot speaking.
How do you do, Mr. Poirot? I'm Lady Clark's nurse. I wanted to let you know that I won't be able to come for her injection today. Might Miss Grey be able to do it?
She has just left, but I will take care of it.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. You'll find the skeleton key to open the medicine cabinet hidden in the lion trophy.
You can count on me. Au revoir, mademoiselle.
Oh, thank you kindly.
Yeah, but...
Goodbye, Mr. Poirot.
Okay, this... Right, one, a total stranger answers the phone. Two, the nurse hasn't turned up. I mean, honestly, the poor woman. Right? And three, yeah, here. We'll tell you where the key is, random stranger. To an expensive house. I just...
Here is the skeleton key. April 1925.
I mean, if I wasn't there to answer the phone would have just been ringing. It ain't like she could come down and answer it herself. Expecting the receptionist to give her the injection because she can't turn up. I mean, that's just bad for the nurse.
This woman is suffering.
Started.
She is in no state to have a conversation. It's closed.
I think I've set my dogs off.
Ah, Mr. Poirot.
How does he know the right dose?
Oh, I feel better now. Thank you for your help.
Well, that's what she should have done anyway.
Madame, you are tired, so I will get straight to the point. What can you tell me about this business?
What business, Mr. Poirot?
No doubt. You wish to talk to me about what happened to your husband?
Ah, yes. Oh, poor Carmichael. Has the madman who killed him been caught?
Not yet, chère madame. There was a great many people in Cheston on the day of the murder.
Indeed. People go straight to the beach. They don't come near Coomside.
So, there were no strangers around the house that day?
Who said that?
The people who live here. Your brother-in-law, Miss Grey.
Miss Grey? Oh, I don't like her. Franklin wanted her to stay, but I insisted she should go. Immediately.
You are entitled to do so, naturally.
I'm pleased that you approve. The others have been taken in by her. But at least you can see through that self-pity act. See what she's up to. Oh.
that nurse, I'm just so angry about it. You know what I'm saying to you? She ought to be sacked.
This subject would probably be useful to me.
And not, it ain't just that. It ain't just the injection. It's also telling him where the key is. Hi, complete stranger. That house is very valuable and has a lot of stuff. Why don't you steal everything? Here's this skeleton.
This subject would probably be... This couple appears to be having fun. Lady Clark and Sir Carmichael were very happy, but they did not have any children. This subject would probably be useful to me. The mechanism appears to be broken.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit.
Firstly, I have to take it apart. Firstly, I have to take it apart.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
I hope that Hastings will not be cross with me. This part appears to be working.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to get to this, which is not easy to turn. Yeah, but it's not going to. So I'm having to turn it strangely. You can only go so far. There we go.
Oh, what are we talking about? Ah, yes, Thora Grey. Oh, Carmichael had great esteem for her, but for me she was nothing but a hypocrite.
You're probably right, madame.
You have seen through her. I'm so pleased that I've convinced you.
Well, I appear to have been wrong about Thora Grey.
So you all agree. How nice it is to be all of the same mind.
Miss Grey did look after you very well, though.
Outwardly. But she's hiding something. I think she tried to poison me.
Miss Grey? A poisoner? But everybody appears to like her.
It proves she knows what she's doing. She's manipulative and she's a liar.
A liar?
Let's see, didn't she say that on the day of the crime nobody was around Coomside?
That is correct.
Well, at 11 o'clock, I saw her talking to someone.
Really? And what was this man like?
An ordinary sort of man with a very plain face. Oh, I don't remember well.
Was he a gentleman?
No, he was not a gentleman.
It would be best to leave her to sleep now.
So,
The
if
telephone
he
in the
wasn't a
hall is
gentleman,
ringing.
what was he? Phone ringing again. The receptionist is still bad. Looks like Poirot's been demoted to receptionist.
Poirot, is that you? Hastings here.
Thank you for calling. Have you received a new letter from the murderer?
No, thank goodness. How are things in Churston?
I questioned Lady Clark, but I will not leave until I have examined everything of interest to me.
Have you seen
Briefly,
She's a fascinating girl.
but secretive.
Poirot, she...
Each
Poirot.
no hill.
I mean, what was the point of that call? He's not Fando, it's just... don't know. Maybe he was trying to talk to the receptionist. Arsenic.
Miss Thorogray, Comside, Churston, Devon. Arsenic trioxide thallium.
Does look like poison, doesn't it? An arsenic poison.
The Black Dragon's Curse. To Franklin.
Okay. Let's look at this. We already know the
How am I going to open this
out.
trunk?
Well, not yesterday,
Let us
but
examine
you know
it.
what I mean.
Leaving the code on the trunk.
It says on the
What
side.
a strange character Franklin is.
If you're wondering where I've got it from. That's 7:30. Because of... Oh, 7:20, my bad.
So, what is this sound? I should be able to open the trunk now. There we are. Whiskey and other good quality drinks. Mr. Clark really has refined tastes. Why has Franklin put an Allen key inside his trunk? A pile of books, including one about...
It's the triangle I need,
an
isn't
Allen
it?
key.
Triangle first and then the, like, hexagon. got to change it again. To that.
Another screw. This engraving is not very easy to understand.
Right, this one again. We had a great deal of trouble, didn't we? Someone else missing, isn't they?
Franklin must really love his country to
There
have
we
an
go.
engraving in his trunk. I think I heard... A signet ring? A signet ring with a code written on it.
Yeah, let's take it.
1587. It may be useful to me.
See what else we can nick. Kind of remember this one. Yeah, I've got to move these into
A
position.
Chinese
haven't I?
symbol is in... like this. The position of this character. That's it. This character. The position of this character looks right to me. Very good. All this... Well, well. The characters engraved on this padlock... At last, the cupboard is open. A net, flask and... Genteel and wild, English countryside revisited. The Railway Children, E. Nesbit. For Franklin, und Effie's Christmas, 1910. Traveling in China, a practical guide for English travelers.
Now we need to inspect these. give us some insight on
July 1920. February 1922, South. Franklin appears to be very active.
Now it's this one.
The plates around the picture appear to have unlocked. I think I've already seen these symbols on Franklin's trophies.
Right, we'll start here. I think it's them that turned.
The African kudu.
And then it's no, that one. That one.
The Alaskan Kodiak bear.
And then
The lion of Sumatra. I heard the sound of a mechanism. Strange way of protecting one's safe.
and this is the number that's on
Triangulating
his
one's hunting sites on the map.
what's it called? Ring. Yeah. On the ring, which it says, I can't remember it.
A signet ring bearing the
1587.
Clark's. These documents are very likely going to help me for the rest of the inquiry. Eton College School report. Sir Carmichael. Dear Franklin. Things. She has an. You wrote me. I am. Charlotte Clark Comside. I wish you with all. At home. I open. Sir.
Yes.
It does matter. It doesn't.
Okay. Oh, do I have to look at the others now? Just that. Now let's go into other room. We've pillaged everything here. Unfortunately, he's not actually nicking out. He just looks at them and then puts them back.
This unit contains the medical records for Sir Car. No deaths under. No. Lots of deaths. No. I see some papers that were. Valuers report. Court and Bruns. Ernest Logan. Lady Clark, you.
We've already
I
read
estimate
this.
that Lady. These daggers
to
are
look
only
together.
ceremonial weapons. I do not think that the crime weapon is here.
Now let's look at the table.
A dark dragon for a bright-haired maid. I've already seen similar daggers. Attention, Franklin. Update. Where is the horrible smell of... Something... Brown... River... There, that's... I would like to...
Or even flying across. Or crow. Not quite sure.
It was probably the gardener who lit this fire. Look here. I wonder... This object would pop... Let us now try and get... Everything that Thor agreed. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Thorgray.
That's Phone Hastings. Put the key back.
I must put the skeleton key back. April 19. April 9.
Yeah,
April
but
9. Perfect.
You do. So we'll leave old woman on her own, shall we? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hello, Hastings. I have finished in Charleston. I will take the first train. Tell me, do you know how to restore writing on a burned document?
Yes, you just have to soak a cloth with a hydrochloric acid solution and...
Bien.
Of course. Donald Fraser is here. He insisted on waiting to see you.
This man is tired. Donald is short of sleep, and it looks as if he didn't even bother to undress before going to bed.
Mr. Poirot,
I am not going to play games with you, Mr. Fraser.
you don't understand me. Mr. Poirot, since Betty's death, I've doubts about myself. I don't know what to do. And I keep having a horrible dream 3 nights in a row.
A dream? I am no psychoanalyst, my friend.
Good God. How on earth could I have thought you'd listen to me?
Have a drink and tell me about this dream.
It's always the same. I'm on the beach with Betty. I grab...
Have you seen Megan?
Let's skip through it.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Mr. Fraser, I think that the real meaning of this dream is that you are in love with Megan Barnard. But
I'm gonna skip this again.
Poor boy.
Well, Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Mademoiselle, I asked you here in order to answer a very
good one.
important question. You lied to us, and I demand to know why.
But what are you talking about?
Yet, Lady Clark maintained that she saw you talking to a stranger on the front doorstep.
Really? She must have been mistaken. Oh, I remember now. I'd forgotten all about it, but it wasn't important. It was just a salesman. One of those traders who sell stockings from door to door.
Can you describe him to me?
Medium size, glasses, dark suit, and a felt hat. Not the sort of man you notice. Completely harmless. That's why I forgot all about him.
Nothing else?
He was very hesitant and shy. Usually door-to-door salesmen are very confident. But he wasn't.
Mademoiselle, the circumstances of your departure do not appear very clear.
Mr. Poirot, your questions are offensive. I don't wish to lie. Lady Clark did not appreciate my presence. And Franklin cannot go against the wishes of a sick lady. He is a good man, and he worries a great deal about his sister-in-law.
I noticed that you left some personal belongings behind at Churston. It was too risky for you to keep these objects, am I correct?
Risky? What was the risk?
Keeping the brooch might have brought the curse of the dragon on you.
What? The curse of the dragon? It's a good subject for a story. Mr. Poirot, what sort of world do you live in?
Bien. I must ask you one last question. Please reply frankly with either yes or no. If Lady Clark had died, would you have agreed to marry Sir Carmichael if he'd asked you?
How dare you ask such a question? Sir Carmichael treated me just like his daughter. And all that I ever felt him was affection and gratitude, nothing else.
Thank you, mademoiselle. I will not keep you any longer.
I met Thora Grey on the stairs. Her cheeks were ablaze, and she appeared to be deeply hurt. Poirot, have you offended the poor girl again? Do you have good reasons for accusing her?
I accused her of nothing, Hastings. I simply asked her an important question she did not answer. Let us see if we can answer it for her. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Sorry, everyone. Just give me 2 minutes to go and sort my dog out. He seems to be barking and wanting my attention. Just gonna pause. Sorry about that. My dogs just won't stop barking. It's like
You must know how to read between the lines.
What if...
True that.
Let me just...
Let us now try
Oh,
and
it's
get
at the
our
end
brain
there.
cells to work.
Alright, where were we? Another common point.
It's perfectly clear, Hastings. Perfectly clear. Indeed, a stalking seller visited Andover, Bexhill and Churston on the day of each murder. We have our suspect. Chief Inspector.
I see you. Your suspect. Right. The hunt is on.
Are you leaving, Mr. Cust?
Yes, I'm going to Cheltenham.
You shouldn't travel today. You don't look very well.
I have to. I have engagements. I must respect them.
Can you get the post, Hastings?
And why...
What's... Poor Mr. Poirot. I'm quite sorry for you. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We've a long way to go still. Typery? No, that comes later. Letter T. The next little incident will take place in Doncaster on September 11th. So long.
Your birthday.
ABC. I should compare this letter with the one on my desk.
That's September 11th. Are you the target, Mum? We don't live in Doncaster, though. Well, your name does begin with a D. I'll get the dog to look after you.
Let us examine this more closely.
Keep an eye on you. Make
Certain
sure no one's
characters in
coming
the
for you.
Yes, this I. Yes, the I characters in the two letters do in. I have to find. The W is not print. Of course, the W. I have to find some others. Yes, the... That's right. The A characters in the two letters. My theory was right. These two...
Yeah. Same as all the others.
Hastings. He strikes tomorrow. Chief Inspector Japp?
He's on another line.
Yes.
Very well, sir.
Bien. Now I'm going to see what I can find from these burnt documents. I've received the product I need. Hastings, if you do not mind, I would like you to take a few notes.
Yes.
Is it a mood? Sim.
Now, down to work.
Go and put them
What are
together
these
like
needs?
a jigsaw. I'll start with this one.
This page will be reconstructed in a flash. I think that this is right. This page is finished. That's done. 3 more to go. This page is child's play. It's so simple.
Yes, it does go there.
This page is finished. And that's 2 done. It's easier than I thought. This piece should be placed here. I think that this is right. This page is finished. Only 1 more. Keep going. It's so simple. This page is finished. All the pages are reconstructed. A bottle of solvent. A bottle of solvent.
Yeah, but it's got to go on the cloth.
A bottle of solvent. A dry cloth.
Alright, I'll put the cloth on the solvent then.
A bottle of solvent.
I don't know how you tip it. I'm trying to... Oh, there we go.
The cloth is now soaked with solvent. Got it! Make it...
Poirot, where on earth?
On a fire.
All right.
Do I need to look at them again? Oh, I think I do. I don't know. For the...
Alice Asher. Betty Barnard. Alexander Bonaparte. Dick Dudley Dunbar. Let us now try and get... The burn...
But why?
These are...
Hello, Poirot?
Any news?
You wanted a stocking seller? We have one. Reported by his landlady who thought he was behaving suspiciously.
Alexander Bonaparte.
Yes. Alexander, it's a serious lead. I called Doncaster, a person matching...
Look for him at the Black Swan Hotel.
What?
Trust me,
You appear to be very sure of yourself. Very well. I'll call the Black...
Chief Inspector, I would rather call myself.
As you wish. Please go ahead.
Hello, the Black Swan. Hercule Poirot here.
Speaking. Dick Dudley Dunbar. How can I help you?
Is there Mr. Cust among your guests?
He arrived today. Shall I call him for you?
No, it is you I wish to speak with.
But who is this Cust?
A murderer.
A murderer? Under my roof? It's not possible. I don't believe it. Do you think that Cust might be dangerous? Oh, I do hope you're wrong. He seems so harmless, you know. Oh, yes, completely harmless.
Do not be fooled. He has already killed 3 people and you are next.
A murderer? Under my roof? Good God!
Dunbar, can you hear me? Dunbar! Hello? Dunbar has had malaise. That's all we needed. I'm calling the Doncaster police. I hope they get there quickly.
Hello, Poirot. We have some good news. The police in Doncaster have caught our man at the Black Swan Hotel. They're sending him here by train.
How is the hotel owner?
He had a heart attack. He was taken to the hospital.
Oh no. It is my fault. When I told him the killer was at his hotel, I should have been more considerate.
Come on, Poirot. You weren't to know he had a weak heart.
But I should have known. I saw his medical records.
Do not torture yourself, Poirot. His attack was not fatal thanks to the quick intervention of the ambulance team.
Please keep me informed on his progress.
You can count on me. I'll do what's needed.
I will visit him at his bedside when the murderer is caught.
That's typical of you, Poirot. We should focus on the next part of the investigation in order to avoid other incidents.
No, of course.
While we're waiting to question Cust, we could search his room in London.
Where does he live?
The Marbury Guest House.
I'll see you there.
Yes, but start without me. First of all, I have to sort out a few details for Cust's transfer.
I understand. À bientôt. Hastings, we are making good progress. Please go and search the room of our number 1 suspect.
With pleasure.
The dentist. So that is why you were so nervous. Button.
Right, let's go and question her.
To Marbury Guest House.
We're almost done, Mum. Don't worry. What's up? You don't seem very happy. Okay.
It looks like I've found the real master of this house. There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
How do you do? You must be Mr. Hercule Poirot. Chief Inspector Jupp told me that you might be coming.
I do not think that this is the right time to be peeling potatoes.
My lodgers have got to eat.
But you are contravening health regulations.
Well, it's not as serious as killing someone. I just wanted to help you. I've suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh, yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about. But even then, he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham, but my daughter saw him at Euston Station. It's not the right station. To get to Cheltenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr. Cuss left behind an ABC with Doncaster underlined. But when I see how I'm being treated, I wonder if I was right.
One moment, please. How did you know that Cust had underlined Doncaster in his railway guide?
I went and had a look in his room.
I see. Do you make a habit of searching through your lodger's belongings?
Well, what are you going to do later? I bet you're going to poke around his room too.
Tell me, did you have any other reason to suspect Mr. Cust?
He's rather queer. He talks to himself. He has a bad cough. Because of the war, he says. And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered. I found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He didn't want me to wash his shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
Where were the stains on the shirt?
Can't recall.
Cust used to travel for his work. Is that correct?
Yes, although he was unwell on trains.
Do you know where Cust was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? On June the 21st and July the 25th?
No idea.
But surely you keep a register.
It won't do you much good. Mr. Cuss rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it. Ah! I remember one thing. Bexhill's by the sea, right?
Indeed. It is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cust asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
That does not help me much. There are hundreds of English towns by the sea. Anything else?
Well, I was only saying. I also forgot to say that he started buying newspapers that talked about the case.
Which newspapers?
The evening ones and the daily ones.
That will be all for now. I'm going to take a look at his room.
Take the key on the counter.
This woman appears to be in a bad mood. Mrs. Marbury is taking out her bad mood on the evening meal's potato. I should check the register.
I don't think my register will help you.
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury. Mrs. Marbury, if I am to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the day of the Bexhill murder? Room 306 is Cust's room. Can you explain yourself?
If I did, it was because Mr. Cust wasn't here. What about it?
You rented the same room to two people. That's fraud.
Calm down, Mr. Poirot. My lodgings were full and I couldn't let poor Mr. Fishman sleep outside.
Laudanum Cameron's chemists. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This subject would probably be useful to me. Diethyl barbituric acid. I know this medicine. This subject would probably be useful to me. This dark stain. It could be blood, but goodness knows how long it has been there. How hopeful. This place is a real mess. The least we can say is that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance. A long-bladed knife. This subject would pop.
No, I've got to keep looking. Must be too many times there.
It's an ABC.
Tess.
Cust is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury. Did Cust drop it when he opened the window? Or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning? John Milligan, managing the... Dear Sir, regarding the schedule of your rounds, this letter is... I have to get the ribbon. How am I going to do it? The left-hand heel has been removed. The right-hand heel has been removed. And here is the ribbon. Let us see if it was indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC. I only need the ink ribbon for my... All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter.
That sort of typewriter ribbon wasn't even introduced until the 1980s.
Oh, really?
There was ribbon before, proper ribbon soaked in ink.
ABC guys, enough to... This knife is very useful. Stockings. Stockings. Trousers. The Bexhill. Most probably. All the men articles refer. Let us now try. The register shows that... No use continue. Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
I look forward to seeing you again, Mr. Poirot.
Ah, Chief Inspector. I was about to leave.
Good evening, Chief Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cost on the counter.
I'm sorry I'm late. I've spent ages with the Doncaster police. And you?
I have established...
I've listened closely to what you have to say, Poirot.
That is what... Let us now try and get...
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His present...
C'est vrai. The blood misses... When can you...
Don...
Skip through and get to interrogation.
To Scotland Yard, please. This man is not in good shape. He is worried and very tired, and other police have been hard on him.
What do you want from me?
Good day, ABC. Do you know who I am?
Someone who's got it in for me.
I am Hercule Poirot, and I want nothing other than the truth.
Ah, you're the detective.
Why did you send me a letter before each crime?
Why all these questions? When are you going to stop pestering me?
Take this. It will help you.
Thank you. Oh, good God, my shirt is covered in blood again.
Bon. I now know where the bloodstains Mrs. Marbury saw came from. Are you well enough to speak?
Yes, I feel much better.
Why did you send me a letter before each crime?
Why all these questions? When are you going to stop pestering me?
Maybe you forgot that you wrote these letters.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes I forget. Maybe I did type them.
Are you capable of murder, Mr. Cust?
All these questions are giving me a headache.
You enjoyed the war, Cust. Admit it.
I didn't want to be discharged.
But you killed him, as well as 2 other people.
That's what they all say.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot, but not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
Let's see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards. It proves that you wrote them.
I may have. Good God! I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
Take this. It will help you.
Have you got a nail file?
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes, I know.
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
Here you go, thank you.
Let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
And what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
I don't see any clearer than before.
There is secure.
Let's...
He did not. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. You see? Cust's character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me...
Now we've got one more mistake to make.
To White Heaven, please.
Cust's arrest is...
Followed my guide. You'll have all the achievements.
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The revolver is loaded with real bullets.
She's looking at me.
What about telling me
just
what
gave
you
me
have in
a
mind?
Strange look, Mum.
Surtout
What?
pas.
Why?
You wouldn't be able to play your role.
I've got to make
Wait
mistakes.
one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
That's why I put real bullets in.
What about...
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be...
Let's start the end of the game.
It is not the right time.
But... Oh, I didn't give him a gun, that's why. My bad. I thought I had.
Voila, I don't trust you with my weapon. It has... Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the...
Of course.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted.
Yes, and the stock...
This is all.
Perhaps...
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Is everything clear? Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers, because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected, and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we... Mr. Clark, let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Dr. Clark's patient's records provided a very useful list of potential victims, sorted by alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cust once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cust was following him closely. Cust's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. He systematically sent Cust to the towns where he was going to strike, so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from 3 completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that? There is not one murderer, but 3 accomplices, who all use the same scenario.
Do you mean that 3 murderers with quite different aims joined forces to create a smoke screen? Here's another question. Is it still necessary to find a motive for each crime? And the one in Andover poses problem. Why was poor Mrs. Asher killed?
Indeed. It would be best to forget the theory. The murderer does not kill out of interest, but for pleasure.
You yourself told us that the murderer was not a psychopath.
Oui, absolument. Therefore, let us look for something else. The murderer first killed for money, but then began to enjoy it.
But Mr. Poirot, the first murder was my aunt, and nobody had anything to gain from killing her.
Certes. Therefore, this is not what happened. Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest, and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at 2 potential culprits.
Franklin Clark. Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle. He works for Court and Brunskill, one of whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it, and you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
You think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
That's ridiculous.
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and get... As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and...
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are... Why would I have wished my brother's death?
No, you had to act quickly. Because of Miss Grey. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Grey had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh, no. You know perfectly well. That is not true. Eh bien, voilà. Light has now been shed on the ABC murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no... One thing proves it. The prints you left on Cust's typewriter.
Enough.
Oh, of course you wiped the typewriter before sending it. But not carefully enough. Scotland Yard has found your print along with those of Cust.
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter. And why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
Game, set, match. You win, Mr. Poirot. But it was worth trying. Don't come near me! I'll never let you take me, Mr. Poirot. Took the law into his own hands.
He had no right. He should have paid for his crimes. I should have expected what he did.
Come on, Poirot. Everybody makes mistakes.
Exactly. Hastings, if one day I sound pretentious, please whisper these 3 letters in my ear. ABC. They shall remind me that we all have our limits, even me.
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married. On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission. Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since. Journal of an Innocent, the incredible story of ABC. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
So, that's our bad playthrough done. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to follow me. And, yeah. See you soon with the next game.